It has health. It has power. How do you not build that on
You
Poseidon?
could go Spear of Desolation. Sorry, yeah, Spear of Desolation or Magus, right? And you're dealing so much more damage. You're not as tanky, but
yeah, you build
you're
that
dealing
as well.
far more damage.
You deal more. You're going to build those pen items as well, but the point of the Gem of Ice was to confirm all the ticks at Whirlpool, right?
You'd get it like 5th or 6th item though.
No. You build it 3rd, 4th.
No, that's gross. Don't do that.
No, it actually that's what the mid laners build. I don't build it.
Don't
I don't build
do
Gem of
that.
Isolation. I despise that item personally, but.
I mean,
let's have a look at the bans this week.
If you want to win, you should do that, but just don't do it because it's disgusting to play against.
Yeah, it's never fun against anyone with Gem of Isolation. You've got Kronos and Ganesh taken away by Direwolves, so nothing's changed there. And Legacy go ahead, they ban the Morrigan, and they ban Khepri. So
Osiris.
Direwolves take Osiris, as to be expected, but I like these bans. I'm okay with Osiris getting through. Yes, he's a bully. Yes, he can get ahead. Yes, he can get out of control. But he doesn't bring much CC to the table, right?
No. And with Sprint, you've been mentioning it all day, like Osiris is not as strong as he was because of that Sprint cleansing all slows.
Yeah, so it provides the slow cleanse through the duration of Heavenly now instead of just taking any slows that were previously on there. So that does bring a lot to the table. And by banning the Morrigan and Khepri, it allows Ravana and Erling Shen to come through. Knowing Direwolves would pick Osiris first because if Osiris is free, you pick it first, right?
Yeah, you just always do that.
They allow Raven and Erling Shen to go through so they can combine this double warrior comp that we saw them play earlier.
Yeah.
And to great effect. And now you've got that jungle solo presence back again. So
what do Direwolves do here? Camazotz is open. Rogue plays a very good Camazotz. Or does he go for Naja? Or does he wait for that last pick?
He might just wait for the accountability. I mean, they know what the jungle is going to be. It's going to be Raven. You're not going to put him anywhere else at this point. You're not going to play
Erlang jungle.
Unless you're going to run a Guardian solo and have Erlang support or something janky like that.
Yeah.
They pick up the Sobek, they pick up the Soul. I like them grabbing their support here. Having Khepri banned, having Ganesh banned. I think Sobek fits Direwolves' playstyle at the moment. The best out of the remaining supports. Allows him to be aggressive. We've got Peel there, which Osiris kind of lacks, other than slows. Soul got self-peel. We'll interesting to see what Legacy will prioritize here, whether it's mid.
They could go for a Ra here. And then the sustain is insane. Like, you've got the
Erlang. So strong too.
Then they've got the heal with the Ravana 3, but opting to go for the Toth instead for the damage. So
yeah, so the issue with going into a full healer comp is, 1, anti-heal is very strong.
Okay.
2, there's already 2 anti-heal gods on the other team. So you've got Sobek and you've got Osiris. So don't want to lean too heavily into that healing side of things.
Yeah.
So,
always look at the other side before you pick, ladies and gents. Don't do what I do.
Just go, I want this. I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
Second lot of bans. Camazotz does get taken off the table, but I don't think Direwolves are really leaning towards that. And now the support bans do come out from Direwolves. Having picked up their own, they're going to now take as many away from Legacy as they possibly can. Maybe try and force them into this Geb pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if Geb gets banned again.
Yeah, that was in the previous game. They don't want to play against that Geb. The shield is just too strong, and Weave is very prominent on that Geb pick.
Yeah, very strong player of most supports, but I wouldn't mind him pulling out something like an Ares. If there's high mobility on the Direwolf side, because I know Weave does play a very good Ares, that might just be enough to lock down some of Direwolf's pressure. You lock down that Sobek, they do take the Terror away this time, so Geb is left open. Is this a bait into the Geb pick?
Maybe.
Because I don't think Terror was really any
issues
last game, but I guess you pair that with a Raven and Erling Shen, and you've got a lot more lockdown now. Not to mention Toth has Evade and Punish to stun someone out. So already Legacy have a lot more CC than they did, and more confirmable and chainable CC than they did last game.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what's still open? They need an 80 carry, and they need a support. So
Geb's the most logical pick. Hu Yi makes sense as well. Might as well leave your support to last. Prioritize your hunter.
So what
I
you
think
get?
the second time we've seen Hu Yi play today, though.
Yeah, which is kind of strange considering it's a 35% pick rate. Right? It's basically just over a third of all picks throughout the entire league. A Wheelix is next.
So make a Wheelish.
This is nice.
Good call.
I like this. And Ho Yi with the jump.
Against Ho Yi, that's the big thing. As soon as they picked Ho Yi, instantly a Wheelish on the other side.
Yeah.
5% win, 5% pick rate, 0% win rate, but we haven't seen Direwolves play it.
No. I think it was Servum throughout the league that picked the Wheelix. I'm not 100% sure.
They do. I know that team does particularly like the Wheelish. Very strong early game character. They pick up the Jing Wei here. The opposite end of the spectrum, 5% pick, 100% win rate. So,
okay, why?
Jing Wei is quite safe.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with Jing Wei is your escape is also your setup. Essentially, well, if you get knocked up, then your escape is your setup. But Jing Wei has a good matchup with Hu Yi because the dive bomb, when the Mark of the Golden Crow's on them, knocks them up. Mm-hmm. So Jing Wei can be a bit more aggressive with Persistent Gust. And then if Hu Yi decides to aggress upon her, can just dash away for free. So it's a good matchup in terms of hunters. We know these two hunter players like to box.
Yeah, they certainly do.
So getting a counter pick to Hu Yi is very nice. But not only that, Jing Wei quite safe in the sense that if she does get into a lot of trouble in a team fight, not only can she ult away, but it does massive amounts of AoE damage.
Yeah.
So
and you can't
it's surprising how much damage that ultimate does.
Yeah, the only way to stop it is by either continuing the chase or exploding her health bar before she gets up into the air.
Which it's a fairly quick animation. It's only about a second or so. So it's very difficult to get all that damage off.
Yeah.
And it's a CC immune ult. So why not use that? The lack of CC immunity ultimates on the side of Legacy could be a bit of an issue for them. So Geb does get locked in to counter that a little bit, though.
Interesting. So what is the... So how does Geb counter the Jing Wei? Because if she feels that the Geb ult's coming, she can just ult CC immune and she'll get away.
Well, it's not so much about countering Jing Wei. It's about countering the CC from Direwolves. Geb's not going to be the prioritization going into the mid game. Might be early game, but Geb most likely will be able to get a shield off onto one of his carries, whoever's... So if Hu Yi is getting pulled by a gravity surge, Geb shield is immediately safe. Uses his dive bomb, sure, but it cleanses the CC. That's the big thing. I was trying to make a point of was there's not a lot of... Only Ravana has CC immunity in his kit other than Geb. So having a CC immunity, a CC cleanse on Geb allows these not hypercarries, but carries like Hu Yi and Toth to feel a bit safer in the sense that, okay, my beads are down, but I have a Geb shield. So they'll go into beads, but they've got that backup plan, which is Geb, which is there to save them, hits the Geb shield, and then is able to peel with the ultimate and with the shockwave. So makes a lot of sense to go into the Geb. Not the only viable support left, but you're not going to pick Barkus into a Wheelish.
No way.
Never.
Unless you go full mage and let her pull you and then ult.
But you're dead when you hit the ground if you go full mage. You get feather stepped. She feather steps the damage as well.
True.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Alright. So Erlang Ravana we've seen picked quite a few times today. I think 3 out of the 5 games.
Yeah, I think 3 games in the sets. We've seen with Raven gets through, Raven Erlingshan seems to be the pickup for the team picking second. Strong picks. Raven's kind of underperformed a little so far, though, in most of the games. There's been a monster in one game. I think Freemason was playing him at that point, so will be interesting.
Certainly will. And we've just seen it being used to great effect because Erlang has that pressure in the duo lane. But the thing is, we've never seen it against an Osiris. So how does that lane go?
It goes to Osiris. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Every lane goes to Osiris right now.
That's why he's top.
Yeah, that's why he's the first pick, first man priority. It's going to be rough for Erlang, especially in the early game. Won't be able to really approach the wave and make too much advantage of that cleave auto on his attack chain, so it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be quite rough. Already taking free poke, and that's the beauty of Osiris, is low mana costs, low cooldowns. I think it's about 8 seconds at level 1 is that sickle. So Freemason going for this.
It's a party in the mid lane.
Yeah.
There is 3 members here, and they're going to opt to steal away that speed buff. So, but how do Direwolves reply?
Well, they're just going to pick up their own red buff for the time being. Take purple, and they'll now rotate over to the speed buff themselves. And or no, they're just going to mid camps, just taking the longer pathing, shorter pathing, sorry, over the top. Yeah. Elementals go to the side of Legacy. But they're 3-man splitting all of this experience. They just hit level 2 now. Whereas Direwolves both hit level 2 as well. They'll forego a little bit of experience here. Direwolves will be able to pick up the left side mid camps and likely the oracles at the same time. So somewhat mitigated in that invade. They lose a buff, but they grab both mid camps, which are worth a little bit more experience now. So yeah. Again, Direwolves kind of reacting to Legacy's kind of meta start, I guess, of if you invade. If you look for the gank at level 1 as the jungle or the solo laner, you are obviously going to give up your own speed buff. There's no question about it. Direwolves will go check the red buff, but I'll have no luck there. They're going straight to back camps, so no red buffs down.
So look at Ochita's build. He's gone for the tier 2 Bancrofts, rather than what he's normally been doing, which is exactly what iDivine is doing, and getting a Swiftwing second, Soul Reliquary first.
Well, so iDivine didn't end up going into the Swiftwing last time he went for this build, so obviously it's a book of... No, he went straight into penetration boots. I think he went to a Swiftwing maybe 4th item.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it was just a matter of the amount of gold that he had when he backed, but I do like this tier 2 Bancroft start on Soul. Gives her that extra bit of sustain. Not really... Still 60 power, it's a 5 power difference.
Oh, Rose in trouble. Can he back in time? No, the dash from iDivine will stun him up. So it's level 4 versus level 3, but there's 3 people here in row. Far too greedy, trying to jump away, but Elshackles is there to secure that kill. He was half a second away from getting back in time, but that's first blood for Legacy.
Yep, row caught overextending, taking the second lot of back camps, Legacy not having a piece of it, and pick up first blood here, so good early signs from Legacy. Managed to shut down Row's early game so far, which really has a very strong early game to counter out that Raven, who also has an insane early game. But Boots 2 will be picked up for Row, be a little bit more mobile now. Swiftwing does get picked up instead of finishing off Bancrofts or going for Boots. So it's interesting that starter items are being kind of overlooked outside of the Swiftwing in the mid lane a lot of the time, or at least for the side of Direwolves.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. And I want to see how Ochita plays around this Bancroft Talon first, rather than going for that Book of Toth first, where you've got to play a bit more passively, because you need to be able to stack it up, and you need to make sure that you're just staying alive, because if you're dying or if you're being forced to back, you're not farming, you're not stacking. Yeah,
and I guess that's where the Swiftwing comes in for them, but I would imagine he'll go into Boots, and then maybe even a Book of the Dead. I know he does like that item, especially on Chronos, so maybe he uses that tier 2 Bancroft to get him through the early game with the power, gets the Swiftwing online, gets Boots online, finishes off Book of the Dead for another big power spike, and then penetration.
So why does he go for the lifesteal on Soul rather than that Book of Toth? Does he expect to need the sustain and lose the poke?
I think it's, yeah, it needs the sustain, because Toth will just sit back and fire those hieroglyphic assaults and be able to poke him out of lane. Radiance does heal you up, but it's based on current HP, percentage of current HP. So I think it can heal you up to about a third of it. If you're at like 1% health, it'll heal you to 25% roughly. So yeah, it's not the greatest of sustain tools. It's actually better for building up your passive.
Yeah.
So overwhelming radiance.
Sorry?
Overwhelming. I can't remember the passive of Soul, but
unstable manifestation.
So I knew it was something. Oh, there you go.
That's
Nightfall's hitting me with the knowledge.
Dank knowledge bomb right there. But no one knew what that was.
We got Legacy picking up the fire elementals there. 4-man splitting that. Row looking for his blue buff. We'll go to the safety of Kiki and Mio first. I think they knew that this rotation was coming over from Legacy.
Alright, now the engage has started. Weave will get stunned up eventually. No one going down quite yet. Chuckles will heal up eventually with that ultimate. Freemason with a kill onto Kiki Omio. That's the Osiris going down. 2 kills for Legacy at the start of this match. Now Divine is out of mana, so he's going to fall. First kill for Direwolves onto the mid laner. That's good news for Direwolves. But Legacy trading 1-for-1. Solo laner for mid laner. And, I mean, got to argue, Osiris dying for a Toth, it's got to be worth.
Shutting down the Osiris definitely very valuable. Has a Swiftwing though, be able to get back to lane very quickly. He's already at back camp, so whilst it's important to shut down this side of the map, we saw what happened when Kanga tried to do that. Direwolves just took complete control of the rest of the map. So a lot more even contest so far compared to the last game. Direwolves not able to get out of control with this early game as they did before. Still pretty even across the board. Level here or there in difference, but mostly in the favor of Legacy. But
yeah,
3, 4, 7 Swiftwings.
That's a lot of Swiftwings. That's a lot of HP5.
That's a lot of HP5. It's a lot of farming. A lot of the underlife here used on El Chuckles just to make him back off, I think. And I think this is how this matchup kind of goes. If they're even, Erlang has an okay time of it. Yeah. Now moving into the kind of the mid game and uses the ultimate there to kind of get a bit of poke.
Level 9 is Mingyu. Level 9 is Limits, so they are even. Ochita and Ro are pressuring that mid lane, making sure that Legacy can't hover around that Gold Fury, otherwise they're going to lose pressure on that tier 1 tower. Ochita taken extremely low. He's used that 3 already. The ult from Freemason does miss. And he just keeps him alive just for now. Does he get clapped? Yes, he does. 2 kills already in this fight for Legacy. And Direwolves on the back foot. This is good news for Legacy. 4-1.
Yeah, momentum shifting in the favor of Legacy now. And maybe it was just a warm-up. Maybe it was the team comp. But playing with a lot more confidence now. Looking to take these fights where they can. And catching a cheater out of position a little bit there. Do force both his actives, and he does fall down the end. Not quite able to save himself. Mingyu gets a kill onto Idivine though, staying a bit long in this mid lane. He's going to chase down... Limits is going to try and chase down Mingyu, so he should be able to get escape just fine for now. But good little return pick from Mingyu.
I think even if Limits had landed that ricochet, he wouldn't have killed him. He'd just taken down to about 50% HP and made him play a bit more passively.
Yeah. Mingyu will be able to heal up with the Boomers passive now, though, having picked up a couple of jungle camps on his way back to lane. And, should be completely fine. A cheater will pick up the right side mids. Have a look at the graphs here. It's only a 1,000 XP difference and about 700 gold difference. So, despite it being 4-2 and the kills in the favor of Legacy, they're unable to really take advantage of the neutral camp experience.
Yeah, and it looked like they had at the start of the game with that buff trade, but as you mentioned, Direwolves are going for those mid camps, which are worth more XP in general because of the reduction to the XP on Oracles, on Fire Elementals, and little buffs, right? The little
the mid camps got a little bit of extra experience as well, I believe. So they are a bit more valuable now. They were kind of overlooked for a long period of time. They're a neutral camp, but it was kind of like, oh, they're here.
Yeah.
They're here, we'll take them, but they're not. They've never been prioritized. Direwolves really focusing heavily on making sure if they lose out on elementals, they get both the mid camps to mitigate it. So
look at his health go up. Yeah. That's nice to look at.
That's Deathstall.
AOE.
Remember when that used to heal for twice as much on their cleaves?
Yeah, dude, those were good times. Revert changes, please, Hyros.
Yeah, please. Need more Osiris in my games.
Ultimate
Kiki falls down
by Kiki, trying to get away. In comes Idivine with the stun, but it doesn't land. Kiki is the only one low in this fight, and the only chance for a kill is now gone for Legacy.
I'm just such a big fan of Sporks' skin that he's wearing, the Kaiju.
It's a good one. Pacific Rim 2 is coming out soon.
Hype.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's great. Maybe we'll see CyberGamer.
Good, terrible movie. Maybe we'll see some more... well, we added the Kazumbo one added now as well. When are we going to get a Kazumbo pick? I'm waiting for it, guys. We've got red buff being started up here by Legacy and the invade on to Direwolves red buff here. Get that for free. I'm going to look for the gold fury, I think.
You got to wonder, is all this pressure that Legacy have because of the pick onto Row? That half second where he didn't back, he lost so much pressure.
Lost a lot of pressure. He didn't manage to back and get full boots at the time. It's punished them pretty hard, and Direwolves haven't necessarily gone into their shell. They're still fighting well, and it's given Legacy the confidence, the leg up, I guess, in terms of momentum in this game. And now they're just taking all of the farms. They're doing exactly what Direwolves did to them in the previous game when Direwolves got a little bit of a lead.
Right, Cataclysm coming out. Ochita exploded limits, picking up that kill, but now taking a bit of DPS from Mingyu, who buffs himself with that attack speed. Going into this next fight, if they do initiate, but they're not. It's just a pick onto Ochita and then a retreat from Legacy, keeping that lead and stopping Direwolves from coming back.
The thing is, Ochita goes down and takes his second spell, but still has a level advantage on Idavine, so they're doing a good job of shutting down Idavine. That's obviously a Direwolves priority in the previous two games. They're unable to shut down Freemason so far, but that does, speaking of trying to shut down Idavine, gets plucked and forces the Geb Shield away, and I believe they split those Oracles 1-1, but they're unable to shut down Freemason. But it's going to be really rough trying to kill a Raven in the early game, especially after you give up your jungler at back camps.
Yeah, that's rough days, and there's 2-level lead there for Freemason on top of Row. But as you mentioned, Ochita is ahead of Idavine. You can't see it in the numbers, but the XP difference is certainly there. Even though Ochita was killed, Divine is behind.
Yeah, even it up a bit now, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next kind of couple of minutes of Direwolves for versing Legacy here. Legacy, they're ahead, but it's almost completely negated. In terms of reality, it's 1,000 gold, it's 2,500 experience. They need to keep taking these buffs off the map and then look for the gold fury. That's going to be the big point of contention. Whoever gets the gold fury will take the momentum with them in this game.
Sporks was looking for a pluck, not going to find it. Everyone does have their ultimates back online for this fight at the Gold Fury. It's started up now by the Direwolves. Sporks gets the tail flick, the tail whip onto Idavine, and he is taken very low now with Kikyo on his tail. He doesn't have his escape off. Cooldown, there's the Cataclysm. Row taken extremely low, and he will be the first to fall. Al Chuckles picking up that kill. Kikyo down to half HP, but the rest of Legacy are chasing down Sporks. He's taking so much damage. Kikyo turns around looking for Idavine. Will he be able to get the kill? No, not quite yet. He misses. Look at that shield. What was that shield? That's absolutely insane. That's gonna, the shell and the Gib shield coming through. 8-2. Legacy coming out on top of that fight. Now Ochita is too far
in trouble. They just leashed this gold fury immediately. He's looking to take down Idavine if he falls himself, which it looks like he will.
Oh! Did he live? He lived! Oh my god! He's on 10 HP, less than that even. Oh my god.
Full wipe in the end there for Direwolves. Gold Fury goes down, Idavine survives. Mingyu got picked up by Weave in the backline, and nothing going the way of Direwolves in this game. It's the complete opposite of what happened in the previous game. So it's a best of 3. If Legacy do run away with this and continue their lead here, I don't know.
Could go to a third game.
You've got to ban Ravana, right? Or pick it yourself.
Do you?
Well, I mean, maybe they just do the salty run back.
The what?
The salty run back, where you just pick the same 2 comps and go at it again. Maybe they just feel like it went the wrong way, and they can improve it on next time. I think it's just the little things that are kind of gone wrong for Direwolves so far in this game, and it's just kind of gotten out of control because Legacy are a team that can take advantage of that.
Yeah, and I'd like to say that Direwolves still have a chance in this match, and while they do, it's just Legacy playing from ahead is very prominent. Last game we didn't see it at all, but they were on the back foot the entire time, and it was difficult for them to come back because Direwolves were suffocating them in terms of farm and kills. But now that's happening with Legacy. It's the complete opposite of what we saw last game.
Yeah, and you never count out Direwolves, right? Whilst it's in the favour of Legacy and is slowly climbing, it's nowhere to the scale of what happened in the last game. It's nowhere near the expedient manner in which Direwolves took that lead and got it up to, I think it was like 9,000 gold at 17 minutes. It's 15 minutes, it's still only 1,000 gold. It's a big experience difference, an experience difference across the board. Direwolves are behind, but in terms of itemization, they're not that far behind. Ro now has penetration online, he now has anti-heal online. Book of the Dead was finished off for Ochita. So there's more survivability now on that side as Kiki Mira gets ganked yet again here. It's taken very low, forces the shell pop as well.
He is going to live. Don't go back in. Kiki, what are you doing? Recall, heal. The rest of the team is coming in. iDivine has his ult as well, so he can die. Does he have teleport? No, he doesn't. He's got the shell, he's got the sprint. He used both of those and he did live, so he'll be coming back into this fight. So it's good that he didn't die, but that's amazing for Legacy because they have all this pressure. It's now 4v5 on the map.
Yeah, and you've got the support on the side of Weave. Most likely will pick up a Blink as his second relic, unless he ends up going into a Heavenly as well. But having that extra mitigation off a Blink Gabble is going to be huge for them.
One onto two members. That's both the carries of Direwolves. Old Chuckles does get plucked up. Does he have the shield? He does. The Gib shield came through to keep him alive in the backline. Kiki Mira will be the first to fall finally. Limits is able to pick up a kill there. Ochita returning one back onto Freemason. So it is solo laner for jungler so far. All ultimates expended for Legacy. Same as Direwolves.
Yeah, but Portal Demon, Direwolves aren't quite as healthy as Legacy, but we've got Mingyu and Sporks here to try and contest this.
Right.
They just end up leashing, so they get the pressure there, that high ward in that edge of the Fire Giant Pit between Speed Buff and Fire Giant Pit, spotting them out, which that's where you kind of pull the Portal Demon to if you're going to take it on the Chaos side. So good ward coverage from Direwolves, making sure that Legacy couldn't sneak that one away while they were trying to back.
Okay, so what do you think about Ochita's build here? He went for Book of the Dead as predicted, gone for the pin boots and now looking for Obsidian Shard or Spear?
Could be Spear of Desolation. The cooldown will be helpful on Soul, help keep him alive, get those big supernovas off as well. Yeah, I think it'll be a Spear of Desolation unless the gold starts getting out of control. It's now almost up to 3k, and it's starting to get to a point where it's going to be noticeable in terms of items, but I see him going into the Desolation at this point, unless things go horribly wrong in the next couple of minutes.
I feel like they could.
It certainly could, the way that Legacy are playing at the moment.
Yep.
Direwolves need to be very cautious. The Portal Demon, probably the next point of contention, and Gold Fury is about to spawn as well. So Legacy got the first Gold Fury. If they get a second one, it's going to be even rougher for Direwolves to come back here.
And we've seen that they can teamfight. They traded 1-for-1. Kiki in the backline almost got a kill by himself, 1v4, but it's difficult for him to do that because the front line of Legacy are so far ahead that the rest of the team can't follow up at all.
And as soon as I said with conviction that it would be Spear of Desolation, it's going to be an Obsidian Shard that he's going to look towards. So it'll be Spear of Desolation most likely on the side of iDivine on that Toth, using his gold advantage in that sense. Obsidian Shard, great item, and a little bit cheaper, easier to get that penetration online a bit earlier.
I kind of want that cooldown on the Toth as well because it's playing around the Osiris, you need that dash up as much as possible. You want that Wall of Pain glyph up as well. So you just need
augmenting your other abilities is so important on Toth, and being able to evade and punish through one and then throw out another one to extend the range of your own stun.
Yeah.
Very, very helpful on Toth, and Spear of Desolation gives you everything you want, especially when you've got a 100-0 ult. You're getting cooldown reduction if you get a kill. So
it's crazy. Freemason did dive in a bit, but gets plucked back. Sports is peeling well. We haven't seen anything too aggressive in the past about 2 minutes since that last fight. Kiki down to half in the solo lane, but no kill potential there because he's still got his ult up. He can jump away if he has to. They do have sufficient vision in the jungle, seeing all those rotations coming over, so he can play passive whenever he needs to.
Yeah, having with the graphs, we've got a 5k experience difference and 3.5k in the gold, and it's other than the big spike from the gold tree and Deicide, it's been a very steady downward climb to Legacy. It hasn't been anything crazy, so it's just been that one big team fight that got them that map objective, and that's all it takes in Smite at the moment. In these close games, one missed out team fight that goes to the side of Direwolves, and they'll be ahead in this game.
Sports went for the dash, went for the pluck, didn't land. Damage trade in favor of Legacy, and that kind of small play there was the story for the whole game. The Direwolves are trying to go in, but Legacy are evading it, and they're turning the trade around.
The problem with Legacy being a little bit passive and just trying to bait around this Polar Demon is now Ro's even with Freemason. He's managed to get his farm up. You've got a cheater now, level with Idivine as well in terms of levels, so the only real experience difference is in the two side lanes, and whilst that is very important, having a jungle and a mid laner who are able to deal out just as much damage as the opposing side, it's going to do wonders for Direwolves in these team fights, because the Hunters will be there eventually. They're here at the moment, but eventually they're going to go back to farming. I mean, I think the duo lanes waves have killed each other for the last 5 minutes or so. So someone's missing out on fun.
Yeah, they are indeed. Portal Demon started up for Legacy after the back. Direwolves can do nothing about that because the front line is just poking out so much that Direwolves are forced so far back to that tier 1 tower.
They get the lurking in the waters and immediately start the Portal Demon again as well. Spork's forced to dash away.
Does the ultimate come through from Divine? Looking for the assassination, not going to find it. Actually, not going to charge it at all, so not choosing to use it. Portal Demon now being taken. Will they try to secure it? And yes, Legacy will finally get it. There's the knock-up onto Weave.
Not the target Ro was looking for there with the knock-up, but Gigameo taking a lot of poke in return from Idivine.
Yeah, look how much damage. There's 3 people now chasing him. 2 even. 1 knock-up. Will he survive? Forced to use that ult. He doesn't use it to get away. And overlooks the ultimate from L Chuckles to secure that kill.
Yeah, looking to be aggressive. I think maybe expecting Ro to come back in after hitting the knock-up. Ro peeled away because he was quite low on mana and didn't want to throw his own life away. So a little bit of miscommunication there. Mystical Mail's now online for Osiris and for L Chuckles on the Erlang Shen, but eventually someone did go back to Joe Lane, and it's Mingyu, and now he's got a tier 1 tower to trade back from that solo one. So the towers are now even on the map. Forces Freemason to go over there and clear up the wave as well. So getting that free experience, he's now even with limits as well. So whilst Legacy are getting that pressure, Direwolves are taking advantage of it in those roles where they're in a deficit in experience. And now getting good poke onto Weave as well, forcing his shield.
Get a kill if they really want to go for it. Mingyu taking so much damage, he's forced to back out because he was sitting still for just that half second, and that was enough for Divine and for Limits to poke him down so that he would not aggress and get that kill. That was such good positioning by Legacy, and good of them to notice that they had the chance to return that damage. Cheetah taken extremely low too. Now Ro will fall to Idivine, and this is Legacy asserting their dominance in this lane. Idivine charging up, making Direwolves play a little bit more fearful. Spork's taken down so low as well. This is insane damage from Legacy.
Oh, final judgment just off the mark. But Ro just completely melted by Idivine there. He's going to need to work into some magical defense against this Toth, because the Toth with fully stacked Book of Toth and a Spear of Desolation, so much damage, but L Chuckles gets a pick onto Sporks here. A lot of the underlife used by Gigameo to initiate, as well as the Supernova, but not enough damage here for Direwolves so far. Sunbreaker
coming out, Mingyu forced to use the Aegis. Does he have the dash off cooldown? No, he doesn't. Uses the 1 first to try to get the distance, but he didn't know that there were 3 there looking to kill him. Mio turns around to try and get the damage off. Freemason will eventually find the kill. That's a double kill for him. Ochita low on mana, low on health. Can't continue this fight. Rose here to try and back him up, but that tier 1 is gone. That was 3 kills overall for Legacy.
Yep, 3 kills and a tier 1. Not a bad investment there from Legacy. Don't lose anyone in return. Everyone taken very low, but Direwolves just not quite having enough damage online to finish off these kills just yet. And they were fighting that essentially 3v5 as Ro had just respawned and was coming back to lane. So little bit of over-aggression trying to save their tier 1 mid tower. Instead of maybe letting it go, trying to bait Legacy into coming for the tier 2 and then fighting under there when Ro was on his way. Get a little bit too over-eager to defend that map objective.
Certainly. So, Direwolves, what is their comeback potential here? Because they're so far behind and they keep trying to fight and they keep trying to do little things like turn around and get a tiny bit of damage off before they go down, but then they eventually die because of it.
They're trying to engage too hard, and Legacy has the engage comp, right? Yeah, you have a Sobek, but they're trying to be extremely aggressive. Mingyu being aggressive again, managed to get up into the air just in time, but Freemason is lurking as a jungle.
That was the wrong way to go, Mingyu. He will eventually fall. iDivine picks him up with that final judgment. Bees from iDivine after he lands, just to make sure he can get out, and Sporks going to be killed by Freemason.
2-for-1 the next target. So, the next manages to be taken down by Direwolves, but Ochita in a bit of trouble now as well.
Yeah, I mean, Age is popped, but I think it's just a matter of time before he goes down. Knocked up just a tiny bit, so we can't progress forward. And Freemason picking up that kill. That will be his 7th of this game.
Yeah, Stone of Gaia now online to prevent the knockups coming out of Direwolves for El Chuckles. Genji's guarded for Freemason. Seen this item picked up a fair bit so far today, and not something we'd really seen prior to that. Sporks has Heart of the Urchin, but sadly only 1 stack at the moment. Hasn't been able to get anything really going in terms of true tankiness so far.
Yeah. Do you think... okay, so Trill bought that as well, while they were behind. Is that the confidence that they know they'll come back?
At the time that he was building into it, it was a 500 gold difference, so it's not...
okay, yeah.
It's just, since he's completed it, it's just been a very rough time for Direwolves, and they haven't been able to get anything going really with it. And
oh my god, Mingyu, that has to be 5 HP. If that's not 5 HP, I don't know what is. That's insane.
Maybe
so
that's what
lucky
they needed.
That he lived. Imagine if he dies to this.
I was going to say.
Not even close. That's what you say, calculated.
That's it. Completely calculated. Didn't have bombers online, wouldn't have healed from it anyway, but takes the experience. And now the Gold Fury gets started up here by Legacy.
Yeah, but Mingyu's got that passive. He will fly straight back to that Gold Fury, and they can contest it. They've got the Soul Ultimate, so they can use that to try to steal that away, to finish that off. Whereas Divine doesn't have that final judgment to secure it. He started it off, Sports in the back line, looking for a pluck onto someone. Yeah, he goes onto Weave, and they are going to explode him before he can use that Cataclysm. It was already on cooldown, so it doesn't matter. The gift shield is out of play now as well. 3 ultimates used. Sporks extremely low. El Chuckle's looking for a kill. Mingyu so low, he's forced to back out. The same amount of HP as when iDivine landed that final judgment. Ochita next to, right next to his teammate Kikyomiyo, but before he falls, Ochita does get away.
But they do manage to pick up iDivine, and iDivine's done a really good job of peeling for himself. He's been kind of left alone in the back line and being dove upon by multiple members of Direwolves, but whilst he falls down there, he buys enough time for his team to come back and finish off a kill onto Kikyomiyo. And they managed to get the gold for as a result, making you unable to steal that one away. Ro loses his speed buff to Freemason, gets good poke though in return.
Wow, look how much damage he's doing just with auto attacks and a knock-up. Feather Step, almost off cooldown again. Won't continue the chase, but Freemason is not tanky.
No, not against physical damage, especially if it's just the one person around. He's tanky in the team fights thanks to that mass immune, stacking up protections of being around more enemy gods.
Yeah.
The thing for me is there's a few different ways you can build a Wheelish. Majority of people kind of lean towards ability-based damage and just blowing someone up. Ro here, he's got a little bit of that ability, a little bit of utility in the mass immune. But he's now got an Executioner, he's building into a chin size. So he's going into this more auto attack base. He finishes off that chin size right now. So dealing with 2 warriors and a Geb, having chins and pen, it's going to be shredding those targets now. So he's not he'll do a lot of damage to the frontliners, but his responsibility now is, and you saw it before, they pulled in Weave and just exploded him before he could get Geb Shield off, before he could get Cataclysm off. Even if it was off cooldown, he wouldn't have been able to get off. He was just chain knocked up into oblivion, and that's now Ro's job. He's just taking out one of the frontliners, and it seems to be Geb is their priority now.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter who he pulls, because they're going to die no matter what. Yeah. Unless there's like a huge turnaround in the team fight after a pick, and that they can position themselves very well afterwards, but that's difficult to do.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Limits has gone for a Magi's. I haven't seen this item on Hunters since Magi's was picked up on literally everybody. Back when it was a very, very strong 45 seconds, I think it was. It was 30 seconds at one point.
Was it?
Yeah, the bubble respawned after 30 seconds. God. It was disgusting. Freemason gets some good poke off to Ro, but Ro returns it in kind. Spork's forced to pluck away here. They should just reset here, I think. Direwolf's taken very low already.
Oh my god. Stun lands. That's Limit's turn to jump over the wall, look for the stun, but the sprint is popped by Direwolves. They're forced to retreat, and that's Legacy pushing forward so that they can gather enough ground to start off this Portal Demon and do it safely. Toth ultimate is off cooldown, so he can use that. Owl Chuckle's taking so much damage. Portal Demon's still not finished. It is leashed, it's healing up. So, no one falling just yet.
Gravity Surge used with 3 ults a piece so far off the board. But
chasing Freemason, there's a double knock-up. So much damage coming through from the Direwolves. Sporks is able to pick up a kill onto Weave. Ro is chasing under the tier 2 tower. Around the corner comes Freemason. Did that damage actually land? He just preemptively beats. There's a knock-up onto iDivine. Portal Demon is taken by Direwolves. Mio is the second to fall. 3 kills for Legacy now, just for the Portal Demon and 1 kill. That is not worth.
No, not at all. They're just going to take Fire Giant here. They're still reasonably healthy outside of Freemason, who'll be able to back. No, they're going to all back now. Realizing that the Portal Demon was taken by Direwolves.
Yeah, they just come back through that.
They can't.
They could have set up a trap.
They could have set up a trap and got another pick, but Sporks was sent through as the scout, so Mingyu didn't have to go in and throw away his life just to try and contest a possible Fire Giant. But 24-7, the complete opposite of last game, where Direwolves were in the driver's seat the entire time. Now Legacy fighting back and doing the exact same thing in return to them. I'd like to see, this is why you take Khepri off the board.
He has been.
Yeah, exactly. This is why you take it off. Look at the way Legacy are playing now that Khepri's off the board. Direwolves are unable to get that early pressure. Yeah. Sobek can bring it if he can hit it a good pluck and get someone out of position, but the majority of Legacy are quite safe gods in and of themselves. You're not going to want to pull in the jungle. You're not going to want to pull in the solo lane. You're not going to really want to pull in a Geb, because you're giving the Geb free setup himself. So the only real target is Toth, and then Toth has evade and punish, which is a very, very long dash if you go back through that wall of pain. So
it's absurd how long that is. Plus a stun, plus basic attack increase, which affects Limits to deal more damage on his basic attacks, which is fantastic for him.
Yeah, it really helps with those tower pushes, the objective pushes. Good bit of extra burst damage onto squishy targets as well. So,
do you sell the Ikaval if you're an AD carry at this late into the game?
They will sell it when they have enough gold to buy another item.
Straight up, so
you won't sell it until you can buy a full item. I would say having a tier 2 another item is not as valuable as having Ikaval, even at this point of the game.
Yeah, Ochida looking for the damage. Kikyo already used his ultimate. Mingyu and Ro were chasing around the corner. Ro looking for a kill. Will he be able to find it? Yes, he assassinates iDivine, and that's so much damage gone. A 1-for-1 trade is worth it for the Direwolves. There's the Raven jumping in onto Mingyu. He's trying to stay alive. The slow is on towards him now as well. The clap for the slow, as well as the plug. Sporks doing his best to try to peel for Mingyu while he's dealing that damage per second. The ultimate pot from Mingyu to get away. This is the Direwolves. They are going to live. Sporks under that tier 2 tower, and Kikyo just pushing them back. There was a 1-for-1 trade. Portal Demon not back up yet. Fire Giant not started, so worth it for Direwolves.
Yeah, they get the pick there onto iDivine. That's the target they need to be finding in these fights, and Ro does his job. He gets the kill, he dies himself, but every time that happens for Direwolves, it's going to get them further and further back in this game if Legacy don't take anything afterwards. I would like to see Legacy start up that Fire Giant, force Direwolves to fight them in a 4v4. Even without iDivine on the board, they have enough damage, they have enough zoning control, and now Direwolves are going to look for this gold Fury and pretty much going to get uncontested.
Yeah. Is there any vision for Legacy? No, none at all. The best they've got is that pushed up left lane tower. Look how many minions there are. It's quite a few.
Here's Juicy Wave.
Yeah. Rose should turn left and get all that farm. Yes, as I say it, he does. I control Ro.
That's it. Having a look at the graphs now, we've got 8k experience difference, 6.5k. So you see that nice little spike, and that's the difference between what Direwolves and Legacy would between the two games. Where CGPL gets caught out of position here, forced to ult away, gets taken down by Freemason, who's now unstopped.
Look how many ults were expended for that one kill. It's 3 just for the solo laner, shutting down Kiki, but that's for a whole minute. It's 4 versus 1 for an entire minute. It's rough days here for Direwolves.
Yeah, now they do look for this Fire Giant. They get their pick and they look straight to it to try and force Direwolves into contest. But I wouldn't mind Direwolves just giving this one up. As much as it hurts, going into that team comp in a Fire Giant pit is a scary proposition in and of itself.
It certainly is. Spork's looking to just peel them off it, but he's taking quite a bit of damage. As soon as he comes back up, they've all saved their CC immunity. Mingyu forces use that ult to get away. Ochita using that 3 in the immunity form. Sprint is popped for the safety. Freemason uses that brace and gets so much health back. Mingyu destroyed by Freemason. That Ravana is doing so much work for Legacy. He's now 11-1-9. Double kill, 12-1-9. That's insane. Ro so low, gets taken down by El Chuckles, and this is complete annihilation for Legacy. They cannot lose at this point.
Yeah, they just need to be careful diving into this Titan pit if they're going to try to finish. Kikimeo is up, but it's still 40 seconds for everyone else. I'd like to see them pick up the Polar Demon, heal, finish off the rest of their items. Most of them are a 6-item stack. Grab some power pots even, and end this game. I'm going to grab the Fire Giant first on the way though.
Yeah, there's no way Direwolves can contest that. Direwolves. Kiki is being dealt with by the frontliners. He is going to come around the corner.
Does get the double stun off though. He's in position to try and steal it.
Limits almost dies, about 5 HP. That's the 3rd time we've seen that in the single game. So, I mean, cutting it close. Mingyu cut it close twice, and now Limits for the first time. That's
yeah, I mean, now they're going to shift their focus to the Polar Demon. If they had to just grab the Polar Demon, backed, come back through it, and then you can just deal with Kiki when he's there. If he tries to steal it, and you've got your damage dealers there, they're trying to zone him too far away. It's the right idea, sure, zone him away, but when Limits is that low, he needs someone tanking the Fire Giant for him. Not to mention it reduces his damage if he's the one tanking it.
Yeah.
He gets less damage onto that objective, the way the Fire Giant debuff works. But Legacy losing a little bit of the cutthroat that they need to really finish this game off. You say they can't lose from here?
We just saw why they can.
They can, because if they make that kind of choice and that goes wrong, and say Kiki gets in there, steals the Fire Giant or kills Limits, Limits is then off the board for over a minute himself.
Indeed, Mingyu taking too much poke down to half HP. He should recall, use that passive to come back into the fight fresh and healthy. He does indeed. The fight is continuing off to the right side there. Kiki, extremely low, will eventually fall. Does to Divine's final judgment. Ochita, extremely low too in that disapparated form. Ro is able to trade one back, but it's a double kill for Divine already. Onto Sporks, onto Ro. Kiki fell earlier. Ochita trying to get back. Mingyu way out of position. 5 kill streak, but that was returned again. Freemason, Divine fell, so they can't get this Fire Giant. They can't get a Phoenix either because Ochita is still alive, and he's still got his ult.
I think they can still get the Fire Giant here if Limits is allowed to just kind of do the DPS and Chuckles and Weave kind of throwing a bit of damage there. You're going to be swinging pretty hard, and I don't think Ochita really wants to go in there and fight. Weave gets his Stoner proc taken by the Fire Giant, and
Does Ochita not know that they're doing this?
He knows. He's not going to go in 3v1, not with 2 frontliners. Despite limits being that low, he can just be CC chained to death. So,
nice play by Legacy to pick that one up. 40 minutes into the game. Pretty sure this is the longest game that we've had of CGPL.
Yeah, it's definitely heading that way. And
so, 10 kills for Direwolves, even though they are this far behind. What's that, 11k gold?
Yeah, it's...
They're showing some signs of hope.
Yeah, it's odd that Legacy don't go for that final killing blow, and it's just kind of been, they've kind of been waffling around this fire giant pit. It's happened a couple of times against, I believe it was against Kango during the OPL split, where these games went to 50, 60 minutes because the fire giant wasn't just taken. They're looking to bait fights, but they're losing a couple of members and they're unable to take the fire giant as a result.
Yeah, they're playing
they now have the fire giant buff finished. They're now doing tier 2, but all the Phoenixes are still up for Direwolves, and they're still going to be taking a lot of damage from those Phoenixes. Despite how tanky they are, Direwolves do have a chance to wipe them, as Weave gets plucked in here by the gravity surge.
Watch the Cataclysm. How many's going to hit? He does get knocked up. It's down quite low. There's Divine's ultimate coming through, and it forces Mingyu out the back to recall. Rowe almost goes down. 5 HP once again. That's the 4th time in this entire game that someone's been that low. Phoenix is still healthy. Sporks looking for that ultimate damage pluck. Not going to land. Gives shield, keeping Divine healthy throughout that fight. And El Chuckles down low as well. Direwolves are extending far too far, and Cataclysm hitting 4. This is the turnaround now for Legacy. They've healed up with that Fire Giant passive. The power buff is just too strong, and Direwolves were too thirsty to try to win this game.
Surrender vote's been started up by Direwolves, and Idivine died to a Oboe proc, so maybe it was just Idivine throwing out the surrender vote there, and Legacy should be able to finish this one off. Only Sporks and Kiki and Mio, not enough damage really to concern Legacy, and headset's coming off, so it looks like Direwolves will fall here. It'll be 1 apiece, and we'll be going to the decider. Doing their best here to draw it out for as long as possible, but Sporks will go down, Kiki and Mio will go down as well, and they'll finish off this time.
That was exactly what Legacy had to do. If they fought under the Phoenix, they would have lost. Amazing patience by Weave to not use that Cataclysm as soon as he was pulled. Baited it out, and Direwolves just chased way too far. Cataclysm popped onto 4 people, and boom.
Yep.
That was just the game right there.
Perfect bait and turnaround by Legacy. As you said, great patience shown by Weave to hold on to that ultimate. But now we've got a contest on our hands.
Yeah, we certainly do.
Had a game of the same story, but from 2 different teams. And
yeah,
Legacy drew it out for a bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, they could have closed it at about 30 minutes. But
there was a few fights that took them a bit longer to take full control of the game. Direwolves putting up a bit more of a fight, but what do they pick here? What did Direwolves pick? Because I don't see Capri Morrigan not getting banned. If the ban phase worked for you last time, why not run it back?